Hello, listeners. Welcome to Plano's Political Pitbull podcast. I am Esther.
And I'm Ruth.
And we are back from a little break over Memorial Day and end of the school year. But now we are back and ready to go. But first, our sponsor is Southwest Pain Management. Southwest Pain Management takes care of the most chronic pain without pain pills. Their goal is to get you back to doing the things you love. They're also the world's leading long COVID experts. Dr. Groisman sees people from all over the world to treat their long COVID. Southwest Pain Management is in Plano, so please go to their website, reliefbeginshere.com. That's reliefbeginshere.com to see all that they do. So first up, we are in Plano for this episode all the way in April 27th, 2026. The Plano City Council had their preliminary meeting where they heard a presentation from a tourism consultant. Very expensive tourism consultant. And he did a presentation about Plano's tourism master plan. And he said it was a 20-year plus plan for tourism in Plano. Now, I don't know. When I think of tourism and places to go in Texas, Plano is not the first that comes to mind. Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston, those kind of places come to my mind. But this high-priced consultant, he did research and he has a couple of recommendations. Few of his recommendations that he has. First, he wanted to let the council know who the core market was for Plano tourism. And it was affluent suburbanite families, multi-generational families, seeking affordable, accessible recreation, like parks and shopping, philanthropic sophisticates who are well-educated and drawn to arts, dining, and cultural enrichment, a nice way of saying snobs, and influencers who want social experiences, dining, and nightlife. So, he had a list of some things that he would recommend. 34 to be exact. I'll just go over the highlights. He said that we should expand our convention and meeting infrastructure. Translation, higher taxes. Invest in parks and trail activation, which we have very good parks here. I don't know if we really have to invest in anymore. Frankly, we're running out of room. Strengthen downtown. Now, I can agree with that one. There's already the festival for the very large donkey, the Mammoth Jack, that they want to do. Develop branded destination districts. Enhance walkability and mobility. Celebrate Plano's culinary identity. Did you know, Ruth, that we have a culinary identity?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay, fine. She didn't know. I didn't know either. Create beverage trails. They do this in downtown. This would be something for downtown to continue with. And expand nightlife and evening economy. Develop visitor experience tools and passes. Expand sports tourism, can anyone say the stars? And better integrate tourism and economic development. So apparently, they didn't get the report, the council. So one of the questions that Levine asked was, can we get the report? I found that a little odd. Normally, the council, they get a very large packet with everything that's going to be presented before the meeting. So this was a little out of the ordinary. Horn asked, he said, there's a certain sector within the community that believes Plano is still a sleepy little town. What I am concerned about is that if we're going to have music festivals, cultural festivals, that we have them in certain areas such as Granite Park, downtown, that would work. But we need to expand this to make it for all 72 square miles of Plano. So he's basically saying, how can we draw citizens in so that they're all for this and not complaining? And what the answer was is that whatever Plano does, it has to be inherent to Plano and really a part of our community. So like the Plano Balloon Festival, for example, that usually gets us a lot of tourism. So Thomas asked that, she said this was a lot to process. And she asked about the data gathering to determine success, and that was going to be the job of Visit Plano. That was their department's job. Who knew? We had a tourism master plan. Well, the next item should be a part of the Plano Tourism Master Plan because it is going to get a lot of attention. And it is the AT&T sculpture case, Planning and Zoning Case 2026-003 for a plaza at Legacy Drive in Parkwood on what is going to be the AT&T headquarters. And what AT&T wants to do is they want to make an open space plaza, sort of like a little park. And the center of this park is going to be a huge 280-foot statue. And it's really not going to be a statue. It's going to be disguised as a statue to disguise the antenna that they want. And the statue is really not a piece of art. It's going to be more like their logo. So picture a stick figure man with a large pole for a torso and then two legs sticking out. All right. And then at the very top of this structure is going to be a globe, specifically the AT&T logo. But it's not a sign, even though it's going to light up. And even though we could probably be able to see it from outer space. On the website, 5 people were opposed, and one was an HOA across the street. They're also opposed. There was only one in support, and that was the property owner. No surprise there. This got a lot of discussion in planning and zoning because of the sign factor. Is a logo also a sign? See, a sign would have a totally different ordinance, but because they're calling it a piece of art, now That falls under a different ordinance. So Care asked about the light effects because it's going to be lit up blue, and also asked about the building standards because it's got to be safe. Obviously, they don't want it to fall over. And the doll asked about the antenna parts. So there were two speakers on this. One speaker also spoke at the planning and zoning. His name was Jeff, and he lives across the street from the property. And he showed a picture of kind of what he's going to be able to see from his balcony outside his bedroom window. And he's going to get a very, very, very clear close-up view of this structure. Jeff says he welcomes AT&T, just not the structure, because the structure is going to have flashing lights and color changes. So he doesn't want that part. He says the structure's fine if it remains one color, gray. It is going to have flashing lights and change colors. That's going to be disturbing, especially at night. So he would like the city to tie this. He says that if the city tries to tie this to the outdoor lighting code, it's not going to be good enough. Also, this structure is going to be 215 feet too close to homes. He lives in a townhome. And the photometric review is at the property line of the structure, not a third floor window facing the structure. So he wants a residential impact study at those windows. He also wants a noise study before the building permit is issued. As I said, the director of planning has determined that it is a structure, not a sign. She said it was a sculpture, and the sign ordinance does not apply. Yet the structure has the same impact, according to the resident Jeff, on homes as a sign. Color, illumination, visibility. Not to mention that it has the AT&T logo on it. The sign ordinances have protections for homeowners, and he wants those to carry over for those protections into the plan development itself, which is what this zoning change is. They had to, for whatever reason, couldn't use another zoning ordinance, so they had to make this a plan development now, because now it's going to have a plaza. Jeff also continued, they mentioned a substantive change would require a rezoning, but it does not define what a substantive change is. And that strikes me as odd, because usually in the law they want to define everything. Bill Lyle was the second to speak, and he asked, why not go with a commercial district, just a straight commercial district, or a commercial employment district zoning, so that the zoning, this kind of thing, this kind of structure can be done by anybody, not just the special carve out for this planned district. He gave him the example, if Dr. Pepper wants to come back and they want to make a 250-foot tall Dr. Pepper can, they should be able to do that. Evidently, the issue isn't so much what the thing looks like, it's that it's really an antenna. And I find this very interesting. Do you remember, Ruth, when we talked about the great antenna debate disguised as a tree?
Mm-hmm.
And they spent a half hour planning and zoning on what kind of tree it should be. Okay, this was an antenna disguised as a tree. Frankly, I think that it would be better if this thing were disguised as a tree than this quote unquote piece of art. They spent more time on that than they did on this AT&T logo. They're calling a piece of art. Yet I think a tree would look better. I mean, Bill Lyle did have a good comment there. See, I would have done the reverse. I would say, how is this not a sign? You've got the logo, right? If I had, let's say, BMW, they wanted to build their headquarters here. And they decided we want to put the BMW emblem out front. Now, that's their logo. It doesn't have any words on it, but it's their logo. Everybody knows that that is a BMW logo. That is a sign. If I have the Olympic rings, that's the Olympic sign. A star, a green star with a D in it, that's the Dallas Stars logo. Logos are used as signs. People recognize them. So this is a workaround to the sign ordinance. Okay, this is a loophole.
Flimsy one.
It is a flimsy one, yes. This is definitely a flimsy one. I would dare say that we will probably be able to see that pretty much anywhere in West Plano. And that guy is going to look out and he's going to see a huge pair of stilts with a ball on top of it. It's not, I don't care for it. It's not pretty.
You don't understand. It's industrial art.
Yes. And it definitely looks industrialized. But you know what? A person can have a pink and polka dot house. If they really, really wanted a pink and polka dot house and you don't live in a very strict HOA, you can paint your house pink with polka dots.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, it has to do with that. Pretty much, it's hard for cities in Texas to regulate beautification, aesthetically pleasing stuff.
Well, because everyone has a different definition of what's aesthetically pleasing.
Yes. So the Texas...
you don't like industrial art, but I don't like it either. Right. But someone else might.
Yes, someone else might really like this. And as they're driving past Legacy,
I don't think anyone passing this is going to think it's art. They're going to be like, oh, AT&T.
Yeah, it'll be very obvious that it's AT&T. If T-Mobile went and put a giant T out in front, they'd go AT&T. I mean, sorry, T-Mobile. So we could have, theoretically speaking, we could have some of these huge structures for each company's
that's going to be fun.
Logos that are over there. Liberty could have a Statue of Liberty.
Oh, they've opened up a whole can of worms. This is going to be funny.
Yes, they definitely have opened up a can of worms.
Wait, did you even get to the part where did you even get to where it passed?
Not yet. I was going to say what the council had to say.
Oh.
So, Councilman
Oops,
Kerr,
I spoiled.
Councilman Kerr, he lives and works in the area. And he said, who better than a 150-year-old company to be in that area? Okay. He likes it. He likes the structure. He's totally fine with it and thinks it will add to the city. Thinks they have addressed all the concerns from the residents in the zoning, although didn't really say what those provisions were that they added. Now we do have a noise and light ordinance, so the light has to go off at 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock, the blue light has to turn off. And
That's nice, at least.
yeah, but that's our standard noise and light ordinance for the whole city. So it's not like they did anything extra for this. If I were the guy living across the street, blackout curtains might be a good idea. Invest in some blackout curtains. No surprise it passed.
That's ridiculous that he would even have to do that.
I know. It is.
We've addressed all residents' concerns. Just trust us.
Yeah, I don't think so. What my concern would be was if we're going to have another whole bunch of statues in the form of logos all across this whole business area. Our skyline will be just company logos. Capital One, Chase, Liberty, Sally Mae.
They might want to rethink
Boeing. This. And Lord help us if the stars go over there. They'd have a big star with a D in it.
Maybe the council would like that. They'd be like, look, it's a beacon for all that we have here. All the business that we've attracted.
Yeah, it's good advertising. If we could get Cracker Barrel, they brought back the guy sitting next to the barrel. Could have that.
It's an eyesore, but
it's
a symbol.
Yes. And they can light different colors. It could be like Las Vegas Strip. Ugh. Instead of the Las Vegas Strip, it could be the Plano Business Strip.
Never going over there. Never. I hate it over there anyway.
Yeah. This is actually on the Shops of Legacy side. So, but yeah. You'll never go over there again because it's going to be 10,000 more people over there.
Barely go over there as it is. I hate it over there.
Yeah. We like the open space.
I don't like feeling closed in.
Mm-hmm. No. And yeah, if this could be actually, I hate to do this, but since any piece of art is just fine, this could literally be a tourist attraction and part of the master tourism plan. Come see Logo Row.
Logo Row?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Oh, God.
You could have people walking around, in the fall and spring when it's nice weather.
It's definitely a sight to see.
Looking at all the statues of all the different company logos that we have. Now that I think about it, that is not a bad idea. I mean, why not just run with this?
I mean, hey, they've already started. Might as well go all in.
And, if they stick in an antenna in it, more cell service for us. It's coming, folks. Oh, well, actually, it does have one more hurdle to jump. I forgot. Because it's so freaking tall, they have to get FAA approval. Because it might be in a flight path.
Pray it is.
So, if it is in any flight path, I mean, we have an airport over here, though I'm not quite sure. It might be in the flight path of the airport that's over on the west side, that little private airport. That thing is going to have to get smaller in size. And they may not like that because that could interfere with the antenna aspect.
And how would you see it from space? It's very important.
Yes, we want our astronauts to be able to see the AT&T logo from space. So I don't know if they would be happy with lowering it. It might not happen. So let's hope the federal government usually doesn't approve these things. They kind of, they don't want the planes to be able to hit something.
They've saved us before.
They did. They saved the Willow Bend. They said, no, you may not build that high of a building over there because the planes are going to hit it. Because you're in the flight path. All right. Moving on to lawnmowers. There was no way to make a segue for that. I just had to throw in. How am I going to go from AT&T logos to lawnmowers? No easy transition for that, so we're just going to go right into it. So, on the consent agenda.
They're both machines?
No.
Related?
They're both electronic. Yeah. So, on a recent consent agenda, there was an expense for $211,280. Now, what possibly could be this great expense? A sidewalk, a road, some kind of construction? Nope, nothing like that. They're buying 5 lawnmowers at $42,256 each. They're buying 5 lawnmowers. That is the same price as a car.
These must be some lawnmowers.
They must be. Now, I realize that these are probably commercial lawnmowers, all right? Because we've got a lot of parks and a lot of grass to cut. So I realize that they're not just going to go to Home Depot and buy a push mower for a couple of $100. I realize that. But $42,000 is a lot of money on a lawnmower. So I did some research. So a commercial lawnmower, I just to Google, I said, how much is a commercial lawnmower? Go for it. And they gave me a range. Computer spit out a range. And the range was $4,000. It was the least amount. $4,000 for a walk behind lawnmower to $16,000 for a zero turn mower. Now, the ones that they wanted to buy were these zero turn lawnmowers, and this zero turn allows you, as you're sitting in the lawnmower, first of all, it's a riding mower. So you're sitting in the mower, and it allows you to turn 360 degrees on the spot, right where the mower is. Makes, I guess, turning easier. So those went to as high as $16,000. And a robotic mower, one that is like a Roomba, okay, where you could just press the button and it goes by itself, is as high as $30,000. So I would like to know if a commercial lawnmower that has zero turn, okay, is $16,000. Why did we pay $42,000?
Because the government always gets the most expensive stuff. Because they don't care.
They should care more.
They don't. It's not their money.
And that's the problem. It isn't their money, and they should be better stewards of our money.
They're just like, let's get the most expensive item because if it's expensive, it must be good.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think that what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to throw out bids for things. And they're supposed to take the most cost-effective bid. Now, if my answer is correct, and a commercial lawnmower, 0 turn, which is what they said they were getting, I found for $16,000. Why are they spending $42,000?
I just explained it.
Yes, I know you just explained it. I know that's my guess too. They're wasting money.
They always do that.
And why is nobody asking the question, why are these lawnmowers so expensive? I often wonder, do the council, when they get the agenda, and I realize these are very long packets they have, it's huge, they're over 100 pages, and they get them Wednesday or Thursday. So they only have the weekend, like 4 days, to read all this, to digest it, to try and understand it. Are they going, okay, they want 211,000. They want a house for the cost of a house. In lawnmowers, they want to give such and such a economic development grant. Do they look at the consent agenda at all? I know Shelby and Anthony did. They looked at each item, and they said, some of these things are not in our expertise. We would ask the staff questions. They would give us answers. And, okay, we would sometimes you just got to take the people's word for it. But other times, I would be like, oh, wait, gee, that's really expensive. Can we get something cheaper? Do we need 5 lawnmowers? Are these replacing 5? Can they not be fixed? Can they not be refurbished? I don't know. All right.
The lawnmowers might be old.
Well, that reminds me. Sometimes what they'll do, there was something from a request from one of the libraries to get new furniture. And they had said, somebody had asked, well, why do you need new furniture? And it's not that the furniture is old, worn down, broken. No. It's just they keep furniture for so many years, and then no matter what condition it's in, they toss it out and they get all brand new furniture for the libraries. I think they stagger them. But yeah, like every 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever the number is, let's say it's 5 to 10 years, they replace the furniture. The furniture could be totally fine. Nothing wrong with it. They'll replace it. I'm like, why don't we just replace the broken ones?
Well, when it comes to so you have to remember that when it comes to electronics, such as computers or cars, or in this case, lawnmowers, the older they get, the more problems they get, and the more run down.
I can totally.
So it might be more work. So unlike furniture, which you can visibly see, okay, there's nothing wrong with it, we could keep it for a few more years. It might be more cost effective to just buy a new lawnmower instead of waiting for it to break down.
Well, with the lawnmowers, my question was, why so expensive? With the furniture, they're just being wasteful. They really are. They're being wasteful. And the excuse was, well, we want all the furniture to match. Again, like I could see you want, if there's a table and you want in a room, in one of those meeting rooms, and you want all the chairs to match, maybe you can't replace, maybe they've discontinued that particular chair. You can't just replace one, so you have to replace all of them.
You've had that happen.
Yes, I have. I understand that. But you don't need to replace the whole freaking library furniture, because one room, in one meeting room, the one chair is no good, is worn out. Or one chair in the library is worn out where the desks are. Some of this, I just wonder if we could be a little bit more frugal here. I don't think we need to replace furniture every single 5 years, whatever it is, because one or two chairs are no good. Or maybe they're all fine. Maybe they're all perfect. Maybe they're all great. If everything is fine, if nothing's broken, looks worn out, then why are you replacing everything in the first place? Why are you replacing anything? You shouldn't have to.
Oh, well, we don't want them to be outdated. They can't look old.
Yeah.
No,
I would.
They gotta look new and modern. 5 years, trends change fast.
Yeah, trends and chairs change really fast. When these folks ask for your vote and then they run, I think the thing that they should first do is say, I'm going to be a good steward of your money. And I don't think we've had, at least this bunch, is not being good stewards of our taxpayer money. This bunch definitely. People on there in the past, we've had a few people on there in the past who was very good stewards of our money. But not this group. All right. And last, but certainly not least, we have some sad news. The North Texas Performing Arts said that they were asked to leave the Willow Bend Center within a year. This was reported in the Plano edition of Community Impact. They have, I think they have a year, within this year, to get out of their space. I don't know where they're going to go. It's sort of sad that they're being kicked out, basically, because part of the deal was that they would be able to stay, not necessarily in that spot, but on the property. And now they're basically saying, yeah, we're done. Pack your things up and go. North Texas Performing Arts, they are doing a rendition of the musical 1776 for the week of the 4th of July. And obviously it's to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the founding of our great nation. So hopefully they will still be at Willow Bend when they do that performance. I believe rehearsals are still there. And now on to something cute and cuddly. And yes, he is still up for adoption, folks. Mr. Thor. Still there. I'm getting worried about Thor.
Poor baby.
I am. You leave an animal too long in a shelter, they go a little crazy.
Wouldn't you? Okay, so Thor is a friendly boy who's about 2, maybe 3 at this point, years of age. He's very playful with children. He's active when he plays, maybe best in a home without young children. Thor was very excited for his first Pups in the Parks walk. He had a lot of energy as he left his kennel, but settled down quickly. He was very patient while being harnessed in the lobby of the shelter and loaded into the car without issue. Thor rode well in the car and was very relaxed. He walked well on leash and got along well with all the other dogs in the group. Thor exhibited no prey drive when encountering birds and squirrels along the walk.
And if you'd like to find out more about Thor, please go to our website, www.planospoliticalpitbull.com, and click on the link Pit Bulls for Adoption. That is all for us today, folks. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and comment. This is Esther.
This is Ruth.
For Plano's Political Pit Bulls, signing off.